Let's have a real conversation about bonusing people for ethical behavior. Now, there's been some news recently. Novartis is the largest company, maybe that some of you have heard of, that are paying bonuses to senior leaders in their organization for engaging in ethical types of behavior. Now, some examples of those might be around environmental considerations or social justice considerations or considerations of equity in the workplace, diversity, those sorts of things. Now, I'm really glad that these ethical questions are getting the attention they deserve. I'm glad that it appears more and more companies are paying attention to their place in the world from an ethical perspective, that there is some greater contribution that they want to make to the world other than just making money for their shareholders. However, I find the idea of paying bonuses for ethical behavior to be concerning, and here's why. Creating a specific reward in the form of a bonus for any behavior, ethical or otherwise, is a transactional focus. It infers that the exchange of value is what's going to drive the behavior. This is true of any sort of bonusing structure. When we pay a bonus, we assume that the person will act differently as a result of the specific transactional payoff that we're offering them. Why would we have to create a transactional arrangement for ethical behavior? Now, of course, if I look at just driving regulations, for example, if I'm driving my car at a high rate of speed through a residential area, there are legal remedies for that. There's fines that I would have to pay. So yes, there is often a transactional element to driving people towards ethical behavior. But the far more important reason for me to observe the speed limit in that residential area is my own grounding, my own ethical DNA, my values. If I drive the speed limit only because I fear the transactional consequences of that, that's not as enlightened, frankly, a reason for me driving the speed limit. I should be driving the speed limit because I care about the community in which I live. I recognize the impact of my behavior on other people's well-being, and I have my own personal intrinsic reasons for wanting to observe that law. So ethics really comes from a grounding. It comes from DNA. It comes from character. It doesn't come from bonuses. I would go so far as to say that if you work for a company that offers you a specific monetary bonus and to induce you to act in an ethical way, that number one, you should probably say no, because I think accepting money for engaging in ethical behavior is arguably in and of itself an unethical thing to do. And I think you should also question the company you're working for that feels that their ethics are such a problem that they have to start paying people to do the right thing. Be a lot of difference of opinion on this. I'd love to hear from you, disagree or otherwise. I'd love to have you be part of this conversation. It's something I feel pretty strongly about, and thanks for letting me share it with you. Take care.